Okay. Hello. I think you can hear me, but I'm having some trouble, as you can see. What's going on? Okay, that's one. Can you hear me? Hi. This is the first time doing it with this camera. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Because that would be great. Oh, great. Okay, because I'm not seeing any any what's it called? With those little dots that in the live they show, about the sound. So, hi guys. Felix is here. Hi Anna. Yes, we can hear you. Eddie is here. Hi there. Hello. We can hear. Yes, Trent. Hello. Saying we can hear and see. Great. Then there's also Griff and Joanna. Hi everyone. Laurica. Hello, Laurica. Starting off great with the slurping sound. Hello, Kimmy. This is I don't usually go on this day, this time, but I figured I'd just try. I'm glad I somewhat made it in time. Hello, Kimmy Marine. Hi, Ash. Okay, so how is everyone? I'm doing okay. I'm having a busy day. Funnily enough, it's all happening again. It's all starting up again, again after the lockdown and in Holland. So the Laurica is doing fantastic. That's great. Hello, Atomic Creation. So good to see you all here. So the schools are opening up again in Holland, and that means that this week is the first week of work for a lot of people. So, including myself, being a dance teacher. Joanna is good and relaxing a bit before cooking dinner. Yeah, basically doing the same thing, although I'm having leftovers of yesterday, but that was fine. So, I asked on Instagram, but I think that was only yesterday, so I'm doing this really quickly. I asked on Instagram if you had any questions for me, just for me or maybe for you with the cards. Although I did do readings today already, so I might be a little bit, tired, but I still wanted to come on and just talk to you and connect to you a little bit. But I'll happily do it. I have my Triumphi ready right here. So, we can do it if there are any questions that you want to ask the cards, just to have a little short reading and a little bit of a, direction, kind of a guidance thing. Yeah. All right. So I did ask some questions online already, and I got some questions, which is fun. So a winter is saying, what are your thoughts on using keywords for card meanings? Oh, well, that's a good question to start off with. So let's just see. What are my thoughts on using keywords for card meanings? Hmm. I don't think it's I don't think it's really wrong at all, as long as, from my perspective, everyone does it in their own way. Of course, this tarot reading, but from my perspective, it's as long as you understand that it's not the only meaning. Just like how I keep saying with the Thoth deck, which I've been using a lot for clients. Um, I don't see those words, the words on the cards on the borders, as keywords. I see them as titles, as esoteric titles of the cards. So there's already a difference there, but still, I use that word. It's about understanding that word and what it means and what that whole um, energy, what the whole spectrum of that word really means when you are trying to understand failure, for instance, of the Seven of Discs. Then you also have to understand what the fear of failure means, or what the almost the what's the word, the expectation of failure means, or what maybe on a subconscious level, what it looks like to almost wish to fail something, where there's that fear of success, for instance. So all of that, I think if you assign keywords to every single card in the tarot, um, or if you have a deck with keywords, for instance, like my Wild Unknown, no wait, Wildwood, that I also used today for a client, um, then I think that it's important to know that that card doesn't mean just that, because then, it's, I don't know what we're doing then. Then it's not really tarot anymore, in my opinion. And you know what I mean? So it's still about that interpretation that you have and the knowledge of what the card means. And that's what I mean. The definition of the keywords. Yeah, I guess. Hi, Brooke. Um, well, maybe I can, because the deck is right here. Maybe I can find an example. Hmm. Yeah, interesting keywords the Wildwood has. Okay, so here. I found a pretty good one. What about this one? The Four of, what is this? Vessels? Four of Cups. And the keyword is boredom. I don't know if you have this deck, Winter. The keyword is boredom. And so, of course, I don't think um, many people are still on that. The Four of Cups means being bored or wanting to uh, kind of moody, not accepting the fourth cup, coming your way thing. I think many people aren't still on that kind of. I'd say a few years ago that was still a thing, and then now we understand more. I think. I have a feeling that we understand more that it's about the stability, and that it's really about the four is a whole number. It's the first step towards the next part of the process. It's really the stability and the power. So I think even though this particular card in this particular deck says boredom, that it doesn't just depict boredom. It's boredom because the stability can stagnate and then things can get stuck. So that was a very short explanation, but I think you can see that you can work in deeper levels and from different points of view, because of course this card, any card, will mean something different in different contexts. If you think of this card being in shadow, or being in light, or being in advice, or being an affirmation, that all means different things, right? So I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I guess that's just a part of having a channel at some point. I'm not saying your question was bad. I'm saying my answer was maybe a little bit, this is just how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So I hope that helped. Winter is saying that's how the little white book is set up. It has a few keywords for a card meaning, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, the little white book. But you know that tarot readers, especially using the Rider-Waite-Smith system, have to admit, um, we throw away the little white book. We don't even look at the little white book. You need a big book. I mean, I'm not saying you need it. You know, you make up the rules for yourself. But for me, the little white book was never satisfying enough. It was really boredom. So that's a nice deck. I don't have it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's mostly animals in there. All the court cards are animals. A lot's just keywords, but what I think I am going to try to learn them is as each card as a story, if that makes sense. Yes. Each card is a story, but part of a whole story. Absolutely. Brooke, I rely more on the symbols present in the cards than whatever the deck's guidebook says it means. It's okay, you helped and it made sense. I'm glad. Okay, cool. I have big books too. I'm just now starting to read it. Oh, a whole world will open up and it will be great. At least it was great for me. So, yeah, I hope you'll have a lot of fun with that because uh, little white books, except if you have a Toth book or just a little white book that just happens to be really cool of a deck that I don't know, then, then, yeah, it's just little white books usually are. I wouldn't say that they're very, very helpful or inspiring at all. Usually. So let me jump into one of the questions that was asked on Instagram because Honey from Fierce and Pretty, I don't think she's here, but hi anyway, if you're watching back. I loved your question. It was so random and so good. And I don't know, maybe you can all already guess the answer, but the question was, if you could time travel once, where or when would you go and why? Well, it's for sure music related. So I am not sure if this would be, if I could time travel once and to one place. I'm not sure if this would really be it, but the first event that I could think of was Woodstock. I believe this was the year 1970. And here it is. I have the autofocus on. So I have this album and it's so hippie and it's so, it wasn't glamorous at all. But I just feel that it's just true. This quote, I don't know who said it, maybe it's from a movie, could very easily be from Almost Famous, which is a kind of a classic, but I believe in that quote. One great rock concert can change the world. So maybe this was it, and I wasn't there. But, this was just this whole generation thing. Um, yeah, that I feel must have been amazing and tingly. Um, and and otherwise I would go for a great The Who early days concert, or maybe one of those best amazing outside Black Sabbath concerts, for instance, where they still had the rainbow, where the rainbow was still considered a rock and roll symbol, so something like that would have been great. I would just go for the music, that's for sure, and just to see those bands live and in their best days, in my opinion. Winter is saying, fitting the question to the meaning of the card is hard for me. Yeah, it takes some getting used to, some practice, but yeah. I'm really glad you said that about the white book. Now I don't feel bad for not applying it to the way I will learn to read. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do your own thing. That's the best because it has to fit you. Trent is saying, grew up near there, update New York. Upstate New York, right? That's what I was thinking. And then Laurika is saying, I was born in 1970. Oh, I was born in 87. There's a big difference from maybe my favorite time travel place. So I would actually like to ask you the question as well, because this is such a fun question. So the question is, if you could time travel once, where or when would you go and why? So for me, the why is definitely to see the music and to get inspired in that way, to really feel it live and to basically smell the sweat. And to get deaf from the way too loud playing the Who, for instance. So let's see. Winter has another question, but feel free to type in your answer. Whether you're watching back in the comments below, of course. That's just fun. I want to know, and it's a fun game, or right here in the chat, of course, if you made the live. So Winter is saying, what are your thoughts on the cards number 8 and 11 being switched in right away? Does it affect the reading? Brooke is saying, doesn't affect the reading for me. Doesn't affect the reading for me either. I think, and yeah, I don't know how to say that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get into it. This live that I have planned doing about making one tarot system, which is part of Tarot-thon this year. Yeah, so I hope you'll be able to make it there as well. But my subject is making one tarot system. So like differences like these, like strength at 8 or 11, or justice at 8 or 11, or lust or adjustment or fortitude, and what else is there? uh, Balance maybe. How those differences really don't matter in the essence of the card, because both numbers fit, in my opinion. Doesn't affect the reading for me. Ash is saying, I would probably go to the future, to be honest. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but I just love older things. Yeah. I don't know if I really answered the question, but anyway, Winter. Um, yeah, it just really doesn't bother me, and um, I think that just right now, because I'm a little bit tired, I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But I think that there is, um, a difference that I could use in the reading. I really like to go that the 8 is the lemniscate route. And then also connecting, for instance, number 11 to number 1 of the magician, for instance, or the magus. But it doesn't really affect the meaning, the essence of the card. You know what I mean? I see. Mine is, oh, so Ash, to the future. So I'm thinking, like when? Like the end of the world, or when people are living on Mars, or when the apocalypse finally comes? I'm sorry. uh, Laurika, mine is 1967, meeting Patti Smith when she just arrived in New York as a young woman. Oh, she was such a punk rebel. I loved it. Love her writing and way of looking at the world, definitely. And I feel it kind of didn't really change, even though she, married and became a mother. This was just all, what's the word? Authentic her. Authentic her. It made sense. One just applies the method they learned when reading, and the reading will be right. Yeah, well, I do like to be influenced by the deck that's in front of me. Um, and that's the whole idea that I have of making one tarot system, where I like different systems, but even though, of course, the deck influences the way that we read, that doesn't mean that the meaning completely changes. Not in my opinion, at least. I know some readers like to do that, like when they read Marseille, it's really Marseille, and there's the Popess and all of that. And when they read Rider-Waite-Smith, it's the High Priestess. When they read the Thoth, it's the Priestess. So that's all, and then with very different meanings. I mean, sure, there are different associations, but for me, it's still the tarot as a whole, which is what I like. Joanna, I would like to time travel to the late 70s, early 80s to London, where some of my favorite bands, oh yeah, Suchi and the Banshees, oh, they're great, were active, and go to those concerts. Exactly. So for me, it was the difference between, so am I going to go full hippie, or am I going to go hard rock, or am I going to go punk? Maybe I should just time travel to like the mid 60s and then just stay there all the way till the, I don't know, early 80s, just to go, travel and see all the bands that I like. I was born in 86, so unfortunately didn't have the chance. Oh, Trent, ancient Sumeria, maybe try to catch the ship heading back to Nairobi. I want to meet the aliens. Just watch the documentary Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. So good. Highly recommend. Awesome. Didn't I always forget what it's called. This area, something in America, confirmed that some footage of aliens actually were aliens or foes, Area 51, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I know that that's the right, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's the Pentagon. I don't know. Whatever. Too tired for this. But you know what I mean? Maybe you know what I'm talking about. That they kind of came out and said, "Yep, that's actual footage. We don't know what it is, and it might very well be aliens." Okay, so someone on Instagram asked, "What's your rising and moon sign?" So before I answer that, I would love to know, because maybe I'll get into it more then. What interests you in knowing that? What, like, I don't know, why do you like knowing this type of stuff? Will you look at me differently? Or will you, maybe try to make some different connections in the personality that you know in these videos? So I would like to know that. Also, in people who might be rewatching this, if you're into astrology and all the rising and the moon sign and all of that, what is it that you like about this? So I would really love to know this. This is actual, I'm actually curious to hear, because for me, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm not really into it, to be honest. Even though there's some really interesting stuff out there regarding astrology, uh, when I read my rising sign, what it's supposed to mean and all of that, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I have it right here. So I'm a Libra, but that's my sun sign. It's the inner you. Yeah, but I mean, I hope I'm not just this description, right? No, I don't want to degrade this, but it's just fun, I guess. But maybe it's weird to read about myself or something, or to have this idea of reading myself. It doesn't all make sense. It's not like, oh, I'm totally reading me. But anyway, I know that there must be, just like, I just looked at this up online. There are many different sites. Some of them must go really in depth, and some of them must kind of stick to the surface, just like, tarot thing. And then there must be really good books about this as well, for instance, so it's not, yeah. I think for me, it's a great tool to understand people. Okay, I don't think it's set in stone, but I guess it allows me to see all sides of a possible personality, etc. If that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. Cool. Hi, Monique. Monique is giggling in the chat. So yeah, I know, Ash, there's tons of actual footage now. It's crazy. I know. It's like a conspiracy theory. I have trouble saying that. Theory. Like proven or whatever. Okay, so zodiac sign is Libra. My ascendant or rising sign is Cancer. What does it mean? Tell me about it. And then my moon sign, this I already knew, is Taurus. Interesting. Let's see. I think I agree with what some said on here, and I'm going to try to learn symbology to learn the tarot rather than memory card meaning. Oh, yes, that's definitely the way to go. I don't remember. Maybe it's Vincent Petici, who also has a channel over here on YouTube, and he's all about Marseille tarot. So, very interesting. I think, if I remember correctly, he made this video about don't learn the card meanings. I think that was him. I'm not sure. Sorry, but don't learn the card meanings. So he goes in depth about that. But he also said then in another video, like keywords really help. So they do help, but it's just like a start to get into it. And it's nice with all of these old school, especially old school esoteric decks, in my opinion, at least, then it's full of that occult symbolism. So yeah, I think then that will make more sense. And I also have now 2 videos up about about finding the worth and importance in also, seeing something in a card, seeing a symbol in a card, um, seeing something in that drawing, and then making your own personal meaning. So that also helps along, because I think it can be extremely personal where it's like different from the collective. But then I also think that even though it feels extremely different from the collective, it might feel extremely different from the collective, your own personal meaning of a symbol, then still there are these things that tie in together. I think there are still these correspondences. And so that's very interesting, that even though you feel like some meaning of a card is completely different, you'll find out, the more you get into it, it still makes perfect sense in a way with the traditional meaning of a card, for instance, or a symbol. Ash is saying, but really for me, it helps me to understand myself more than anything. Oh, about the astrology, of course. I guess I use it as a tool similar to the way I use tarot. Yeah, exactly. That was my thought in your previous comment is already. Almost like all these different archetypes and embodying them in some way different. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. So the way that we see the tarot archetypes, then there are also these zodiac sign archetypes. I guess what you're saying. I can't read intuitively because I feel the people that can have a lot of wisdom or knowledge, I don't. Oh, well, combine is probably the answer. But yeah, the knowledge is definitely the base in my book. That's also different for everyone, but for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable reading completely intuitively. Well, when it's the tarot. Um, That's funny. Brooke is saying that's funny because James said you were the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups rules the first two decans of Cancer. And my first pathworking video, I think, on here was the Thoth Queen of Cups. And I really felt her. I really, really did. It was like she was standing in front of me. That was really cool. That makes complete sense, putting your own meaning to a symbol in a card, kind of like coming up with your own story of what is going on in the card. Like for those that use the, I don't know what that is. AW? Hi, Candy. Thanks for the tulips. Tulip emoji. How are you, Candy? I am Abhi. My partner, Karishma, had an argument with her on Sunday evening. Will she come back to me? She's not responding to my calls, text messages. Please give clarity. Oh, Winter is saying Rider Waite. Right. Rider Waite Smith. That's okay, Winter. So, Abby, thanks for your question. I am not sure if I'm the reader that you are looking for, though, because this is a very future, we're talking about the future and we are talking about someone else, outside of yourself. I really read for the people who ask the question, but I can just see what comes up for you real quick, right? Let's just do that. Let's just give you that. Any guidance, I'll do it. So how about what you can expect? Let's see if you can, I can make it short but sweet, and then maybe add what you can do, because I always like to put the power in your hands. Okay, well, it's looking pretty good. This is the Ace of Coins, which is the element of earth. This is, you see, like that yes or no question is really difficult with tarot, because I really read the cards. So here with the Ace of Coins, this is the element of earth, and it's the ace. It's the very first, the very beginning. So the element of earth is the slowest moving element. And we are talking about those things that take a lot of time, but the good things take time, right? We are talking about the things that bring you this feeling of wealth, this feeling of happiness, that bring you long-term joy. And so we're talking about something that's important to you, something that, makes you feel at home, for instance. But it does suggest a new beginning. So I'm not sure if this is, an answer. I'm really in between, like, if this means that you'll just find that happiness in a different place for you right now, because this is a new beginning, or if this person, comes back into your life, maybe the relationship will be a little bit different. Maybe it will need to grow a little bit. Maybe you'll need to like start a new chapter together, or separately, but start a new chapter. But I wanted to finish that sentence. Oh yeah, if this is the case that this person comes back, as you said, then I'd say it takes time. So be very patient and focus on what is truly important. So don't make any panic, rash decisions. Stay centered, stay true to who you are, and where you feel that happy place, really. Let's see just another one real quick. This is the Nine of Wands, and this is what you can do. Yeah. So This is, I'd say, a challenging card, but it does pretty much put the um, the power in your hands because you are the one making the decisions. It's a good balance, I'd say. This is, don't take action, or rather, take action in the sense that will benefit you and your happiness. And here it's really rather, um, maybe like look a little bit deeper and ask the right questions. So we're talking about what's important to you. And this one is about, do I want to keep putting this work in? And if you do, then something needs to change, something needs to be different, because the 9 is also an ending. And then the 10 is the new beginning. And then we get back to, the ace and all of that. So yeah, I'd say the responsibility is in your hands. And now is maybe a good time for you to move inwards and question, do I want to put in the work, or maybe not? So it's not a yes or no. As I said, this is just the way that I read. I hope it did give you something. Deck is gorgeous. Which deck is it? It's the Triomphe della Luna Paradoxical by Patrick Valenza. You can find not this colorway anymore because it's out of print. This was the first paradoxical with the many colors. It's my favorite deck. I have many videos up about this deck. It's a Marseille-ish system, at least Marseille pips. And you can find it at deviantmoon.inc or something. Just Google Deviant Moon Patrick Valenza. And I think that he still has the regular one, the first Triomphe della Luna, and then that he has the Triomphe della Luna Paradoxical. Perhaps there are still some blues, perhaps still purple. I think maybe rose will come back, but those are the 3 colorways. And then this one is the Paradoxical Classic. Okay, I'm glad that you get it. Okay. Just worried for health at the moment. Yeah. I'm glad that you get it. Hi, Anna. Hope you're doing well. I would like some guidance on what my path is right now and what to focus on. Let's do it. Possibilities. I take that reading very positive. Thanks, Anna. Good. Okay, so let's do the short reading for, is it you, Joelle? Sorry, I forgot. I am doing well, by the way. Hope you are doing well, too. Ooh. Sometimes the cards slip, right? Okay. Let me just smell the deck for a sec. Oh my gosh. I feel like I do that every live now. Oh, I forgot to talk about the weather. It's really nice weather today. Very sunny and warm in the sun in Amsterdam. And I went outside in the park to read in the sun for at least an hour. It was good. Guidance, what my path is right now, what to focus on. So let's do what to focus on, right? Beautiful strength. This is beautiful. I think what to focus on right now is actually a combination of inner and outer work. Of course, it's combined, right? Of course, it's connected. But I am seeing here very much this acceptance of self, but it's more like a radical acceptance of self. So I'm seeing, working on or working with the shadow, if you do that at all. But I am about that, so I am just gonna go full this type of advice. Working with the shadow, admitting it, acknowledging it, putting into light, and then also accepting it. This is that radical self-acceptance, in the way that you accept your negative traits as much as you accept your positive traits. Sometimes it's harder to accept the positive things about oneself. Sometimes it's harder to accept the negative things about oneself. We all work in different ways, and we don't grow in a linear fashion. We grow a little bit on this side, we grow a little bit on that side, and then we grow a little bit over there, but that means that we are undeveloped on this side. So this is all just trusting the process and putting in the work so that the process has somewhere to go to. So I'm thinking that this is so much, this can be advice about, of course, your own spirituality, for instance, your own practice of self and well-being and self-acceptance, as I keep saying. But this isn't only about the sitting down and journaling. This is also about going out into the world and doing it. Yeah, kind of like taking control of, like, this is because Winter was talking about, will the number 8 or 11 affect your reading? And today it does, because you reminded me of that. This is 11, and it comes after the Wheel of Fortune, and so this is after you have taken the handle of the wheel and spun it yourself in the direction that you want things to go in. So there's that. Glad to hear. I love the strength card in the Triomphe. It's my favorite strength ever. Oh my God, we have very similar taste, because this is my favorite deck, and this is my favorite card in the deck. I feel that I'm looking in a mirror. I am this beast lady. Bye, Candy. Lovely to see you as well. I'm glad that you feel it already makes sense. You're saying it's on point, so I'm glad that the reading is on point. Monique de Leeuwen. Hello, Monique. I do readings one-on-one. How can I read for people I cannot see? Are you asking? Because really, I struggled. I asked this question, definitely. Ask all the question. Don't just, trust the tarot and then do whatever. It's good to understand and ask the questions. So, yeah, you're welcome. So, I struggled with this, or asked this question in the beginning a lot of my practice, because also on YouTube, doing these videos and then just interpreting the cards, I had to know that I knew what I was talking about the cards, and then it's just finally about interpreting the cards. So yes, it's one way, which isn't always ideal, because in face-to-face you can see the reaction, you can see what people say, you can see how they phrase a question, even though you can also see that in writing, of course. But I think that even though it's one way, it's kind of like trusting myself a little bit now, to be honest. Trust myself a little bit more now, that I can deliver a message without having someone in front of me. So it's just about reading the card, very simple. I'm not medium or whatever. It's just the card that's in front of me, or the cards. And then that message is just sent, and the person, will do what they wish with this information. So that's really it. So the interaction is, of course, a little bit less, or sometimes non-existent, because I also have plenty of readings on Patreon that is linked below, that I do on a monthly basis. You can get a reading, either 1 hour reading every month through Skype, and then we definitely have that face-to-face interaction, even though it's through a screen. But I also do a lot of 15-20 minutes readings, and that is sent to directly to your inbox. So that is in email form. And even though sometimes my patrons, my fellow explorers, as I like to call them, my patrons, send an email back and say, wow, this totally hit home, or this is about this, or I would like to ask this question next month, or just to say thanks. Plenty of them also stay silent and just get the readings every month and just do their own work on their own side. And I just have to trust that that's what they do. So that's just what it is. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's absolutely fine. No one's practice has to be your practice. Your practice has to be your practice because it has to feel right. And, just like before with someone else's question here, where they asked a question that was about someone else and about the future, I was hesitant to answer that because I also know that, I can pick the cards, but I also have to read them. And yeah, I have to believe what I read, and also have this practice that is not future related or not about other people. It's most of the time about the person asking the question. So, that was I just did it my own way, I guess. And this person, very kindly accepted. So that's good. But we have to work together. I think someone asked a question before and I missed it. Brooke. I spit a little bit, sorry. Do you have any tips on working with cards that remind you of painful past events? Oh. Any tips on there? I can tell you something that I did. If you're still here, Brooke, I'm not sure. Something that I did about, I did that with several cards. Brooke's still here, cool. This might be very standard, I don't know, but I really liked getting that card in front of me, and that wasn't even the first thing that I thought of, but path working would be a great one, where you go into the cards. I have several videos about that might be helpful. Path working can really make you interact with the card and then, find out these issues. But then actually the first thing that I did was to pick the card in the deck, pick out the card in the deck, lay it in front of you, and just basically have a conversation with the rest of your deck on this card. For instance, what exactly is bothering me still about this card now? Shuffle the deck, and you'll find answer number 1, and then you can jump off of that one. I used that asking your tarot deck a question, getting an answer, and then asking another question with that answer technique in I think a video that I did last year on Black Lives Matter and the collective shadow. So hope that helps. I'd like to ask you, Tarot, a question too, if I may. Just one card dropped. Who am I? I'm curious. Thanks. Hope it helps, Brooke. It's just, off the top of my head. It's always nice, I have to admit. I always like this practice of interacting with your deck in this way. It just feels nice. Like it feels dynamic. It feels like something's happening. Okay, who am I? Well, it's just going to be an aspect of you because we are all very layered. Darling, you are the magician. I hope you like that answer. And this is a very battler magician. This is the trickster. This is about the one, being that chosen one, being the one with the talents and knowing how to positively manipulate um, the this world around you, and to really make this connection between where you are now and probably also the higher plane. From You just wanted one card and this is the one you got, that's pretty cool. It's really I'd say the first spark, that first movement, the first action, and it's really you coming out, you going on that adventure, going on that journey, and finding out what it is that you can do. So I think it's always about self-development all the time. That's what I think. And it's cool because there's that mystery around you, and there's that sense of knowing, but it's sometimes still a mystery for other people. So that can be very intriguing. That's funny. Thank you very much. Made my day. Oh, I'm sure. And I always like that, you know, however you see it, there are always, or in whatever deck you're looking at this card, there's always the four elements on the table, maybe sometimes even the fifth element right there on the table. So there is this sense of wholeness, even though we are in the beginning of a process, right? That's just, yes, indeed, believe in the message, right, Monique? Yeah. So you do readings too? That's cool. Maybe I knew that. I'm not sure. Does the more knowledgeable we have, oh, the better we can read the cards? For example, do you think astrology would help? The more knowledge we have. Well, you know what? In my opinion, you can add all of these things that you think belong onto the tarot, but I am also just so happy with just the tarot, even though, I am interested in the Kabbalistic tree of life. I am interested in color symbolism. I am interested in alchemy, any other, even astrology sometimes, even though I don't know what's wrong with me on that aspect of it, but I don't put so much pressure on myself to add anything. I really like that very sec Marseille, for instance, because that is the tarot, c'est tout. That's all. It's just the tarot. And you can and you are allowed to add whatever you wish to add. It's not like you have to. So I think it's just really about finding your own style. Maybe you are a typical Rider-Waite-Smith reader. That's fine. You can study one single tarot deck your entire life, and you will still not know everything there is to know about that deck. So that's exciting and amazing. And yeah, there's that again. It's like having a conversation with your deck. I love doing that. Yes, it feels right. It feels nice, doesn't it? For me, life is going to be different starting from June because I'm currently working a 9 to 5 job, but I plan on building my own business as a software developer. Starting then, ooh, good luck. I would like to know what awaits me then. That's cool. I think, everyone, this is the last question for the tarot. I'm going to focus on the questions, if there are any. Oh yeah, focus on the other few questions that I got on Instagram, okay? So let's see in what direction this is going. Page of Coins. Ah, I really like this little guy. So this is Earth of Earth, right? is what it is for me. This is actually the archetype of the student, the person who is learning. But it's also, I'd say, a wise moment, because it's understanding how much needs to be done, understanding that work needs to be put in, and time and effort. So it's definitely, I'd say, maybe we are even talking a slow start or a slow process, but it's good thing, because this is really the foundation, setting the foundations. And I really like that this little guy, sort of like a moon pear face, is chasing the coin. And this is, I see that today as it's really going for that high goal. So yeah, even though it might feel like a lot, it's better to just accept that it is a lot, and do everything step by step, if that helps. Thank you. I thought we needed to know about numerology or colors and astrology to be great reader or have more insight. Those are systems in themselves. I mean, look, this is just my opinion, right? In I think to understand and to read fluently, yeah, like speaking a language. The tarot, it's better to know numerology, for instance. It's better to know the elements or the suits. You don't even have to put in elements, you can just put in suits. It's better to understand, what the court means. And then you just kind of read all of that and read through it. It's not this card means this card means that, this card means that, even though some people do that. But for me personally, then it falls a little flat. It's better to kind of know, and that is then how you add all of these different, I guess, systems of knowledge together. And that is how you get a reading where actually two cards next to one another can influence each other. I think it's difficult to do without, it's difficult to do if all you focus on is specific or particular, separate meanings of the cards. Let's make a whole. But that's just my opinion. Again, thank you very much. I will keep that in mind. Yes, I hope it helped a little bit. Joanna has to go. Gonna watch the rest tomorrow. Bye, guys. Some people even use multiple decks. Don't know how they don't get overwhelmed. I use whatever deck fits the question or my mood. Yeah, me too, Brooke. Funnily enough, today I did a patchwork spread with different decks in one reading for a client. So I hope this client appreciated that, because this was an email reading and I didn't get immediate feedback. But yeah. So that was the first time that I did that in an email reading, I think, from what I can remember. So the favorite spreads to do, I think that's the hardest part for me, and putting it all together. I don't have a lot of spreads that I like. The question, what are your favorite spreads to do? Look, because for me, usually, because I just talked about the patchwork spread, which I love as well, but usually spread positions dictate the context of the cards, which is, again, this layer of how you can understand the meaning of a card. So I love also for myself still, after all these years, to just start with a 3-card spread. And 3 cards, you can do anything with that. If it's your thing, you can easily do past, present, future. Or you can do, I don't even know, but what I do usually is one card's in shadow, the other card is advice, and the third card is kind of like the light part of it, of something positive to end that reading with. And then I keep growing. I have the option of stopping there, or have the option to add in elemental cards, elements. Have a video about that as well. That's my elemental spread. I can put that in that reading, so that's already then 7 cards. Then I can add a card that will help the advice. So it's like the higher self card. Then I can put in another card below that. Then I can put in a card over here. So it's really like, I like that spread that I made, but it's really hard to explain just like this. So maybe I'll just show you in a video one day. I really built it out. I can stop at any stage basically, but I can also just like keep going until it's like a full 10, 11, 12 card spread. I really like that one. It looks like a pyramid in the end. Yeah, that's a spread that I like to do. But my favorite spread is just the good old 3 cards, as I said. All right. And then I got a question, will I achieve my goals this year? But yeah, I'm going to do that another time, because I just said that that was the last question that I did. And also in the Instagram post, I asked like, ask me questions, and then the questions that you have for the cards you can ask during the live. So I hope this person made it to the live. And otherwise you can catch another live, right? Hope that's okay. Do you have a video on patchwork spreads? I have one video up. It's an old one, but I didn't come up with that. I actually think that was a VR to Kellyanne Maddox, who called it the sacred patchwork spread. She also isn't the one who came up with the patchwork spread. So we're all kind of borrowing off of each other, but I really like the patchwork spread because it just is a fun and intuitive way, without set spread positions, to add in different decks and just to see what happens. And it's very, I don't know, interesting. Yeah. Do you go live often? Sporadically. So I don't know, maybe once a month. I'm not sure, but I like it. I always like it. Thank you so much all for being here. Sorry, Miss Dior, I am done with readings. Hope you can catch my live another time, or, of course, feel free to book a reading with me. That's what I'm here for. There's all the description, all the information in the description below, the link to my Patreon, the link to my Instagram, where you can send me a message if you want a reading, or just my email address, where you could also, of course, email me if you want a reading. But of course, on Patreon, there is, no, oh my God, it's late now. Of course, on Instagram, there is this shop, what's it called? Like the stories that I put, on the profile. The first one right now is called Shop, where you can see the prices. It's in Dutch, but if you can't figure it out, then send me a message and I'll send it all to you. Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet, Winter. Yeah. I'm glad that you're thinking in this way, but it's fine. I'm doing live, so, it's just for everyone. And by the way, if any patrons are watching right now, but I'll of course say it again. It just popped into my head now. I want to do lives on Patreon again. But it's just like extra and figuring out how we're gonna do it. So then there's a little bit more privacy maybe for the people who like that. Don't worry about it. Okay, so everyone, thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed yet, I always forget to say that. Here it is. I'd love it if you could see, if you could join this weird space online and see the rest of my videos. I have so much up on tarot and other things related. What else did I want to say? Like this video. I just saw another like coming up. Thank you so much. And if you by any chance are watching all this way, more than an hour, trooper, if you're watching this video back, then feel free to leave a comment, of all these things that I asked in this video, or maybe what you think on a certain subject and you really want to share. That's awesome. I really like connecting to you and talking to you. So. And by the way, I've been getting a few messages on Instagram that are really long messages and, asking questions about the cards and about tarot and all of that. And I don't want to disable, or I think that's the word, messages on Instagram, because I just like to get those messages. So I want to keep that up, but really long messages on Instagram, for me, it just doesn't work. It takes a lot of time and time to get through. I really prefer, this is why I do the YouTube lives, for instance, where you can just ask away and then we can have a nice conversation about it right then and there in the moment. So yeah, I hope that's okay. I have to have some boundaries with my time, because I am a professional tarot reader, and yes, I do this for fun, but it's also a part of the whole thing, a part of the work. So I'm glad that you are here for that. And if you want a little bit of my time, then this is the platform and the moment to do that, to ask those questions or to share these thoughts. And on Instagram, DMs, direct messages, personal messages, it's just a little bit too much for me sometimes. I'm just saying, because I got a lot of, a lot, depends, lately, a few messages that just were a little bit too much for me, just saying. So yeah. Thank you, Anna. Enjoy your getting back to work. Yes, exactly. Okay, thank you everyone so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing these live streams. Thanks, Brooke. Yeah, I really enjoy it a lot. So that's why I'm doing it. I like connecting. Thank you for helping us. Ah, you guys are so sweet. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. So bye, everyone. Thank you very much for being here, and I will see you all very soon. Of course, my next video will be up on Sunday, as per usual, and I already filmed it, and this one is about unboxing a deck. So hope you'll love it. Bye.